Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy Mega Meeple.
Greetings and welcome to the ran out of breath there. The Mega Meeple, the show all about gamers and the games that bring them together. This is episode 76. All right, well, yeah, this as you probably know, I've been kind of laying low. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, and that's pretty much the reason why I'm laying low. It's the holiday season, and I'm just taking it easy, you know? So I hope everybody's having a happy and safe holiday. If you haven't already, go to our website. It's www.themegameeple.com. All the previous episodes stream there, as well as if you go to the social media page, all of the links to all the things that you could like and follow and interact with me are listed right there. And if you go to iTunes, leave a happy review and put out someone at 5-star level and subscribe. It really helps the podcast out as far as getting more visible out to the masses. Care to feel generous and Festivus during this holiday season, and you want to give me a Christmas present, just go to our Pod Pledge or Patreon page, and just something as simple as $1 a month really helps out. And based on different tiers or levels you can support the show, you could even be put into the entering of a free gaming monthly game giveaway, or if you're really generous, you could actually get a spot as a special co-host here on one of the episodes. So, but if you're not able to do that, if Christmas has pretty much left you tapped and you maxed out your credit card, hey, you could support the show just by spreading the word. And it won't cost you a dime or a penny. And I appreciate that just as much. So thank you so much for listening and downloading and supporting the show. Really appreciate it. This is going to be a short episode. Like I said, I'm laying low here for the holidays. Got a lot of stuff going on. But I did want to get this episode out because our guest has a Kickstarter going on right now. I think it has about another 12 or 13 days left on it. But it's a pretty cool game. Wanted to get that episode out so you people know about it. So let's go to that interview right now and check out the Kickstarter. Welcome back to the Mega Meeple, and for those of you who like to play video games back in the day, I remember one particular video game called Twisted Metal, where it was like just cars smashing things and blowing stuff up, and there was some clown car that was kind of evil, sort of like. I guess the precursor to some of the Joker stuff that we see now with the Batman and stuff. But
yeah, we like to refer to that as the good old days.
Yeah, but definitely some inspiration taken there. But we have as my guest this episode is Russ Lippitt. And how you doing, Russ?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing good. Trying to keep my head above water here on the madness that is, the whole holiday season.
Oh, yeah. So, Christmas drowning. Be careful.
Oh, yes. So, but you have a game currently on Kickstarter called The Showdown.
I do.
So, wow. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into
gaming, and were you one of these video gamers back in the day?
I'm still am. Yeah, definitely. I
Cool.
started my Atari 2600, actually Commodore even before that. But yeah, I've always been a big gamer. But even before that, you want to talk about how I got into board games, I guess. And I definitely Dungeons and Dragons. I was a huge fan of that, and I had a funny little story that reminded me indulge in a little bit.
Sure.
But I don't know, man. Maybe I was like 10, 11 years old. Maybe I had a DM who was in the neighborhood who played Dungeons and Dragons, and I got involved. But he was a little corrupt. He was on the corrupt side, and I didn't like. He always took bribes. Like if you give him comics, whatever, you magically find an Excalibur and you can just kill everybody. I kind of hated that. So it was almost the starting of when I wanted to write. So I basically started my own campaign. It was called RBA, Russ's Better's Adventures. And within a week or so, I had like all the neighborhood kids come to play my game over Dungeons and Dragons. So it was a small accomplishment. It's like, oh, I actually can do this for a living. So
Okay, cool.
basically, ever since that day, I was like, all right, I'm doing this.
That's wow. So how was I guess the translating over to actual board games and stuff from RPGs?
Well, I started with because I'm just a writer by trade, but I wrote a comic about like 10 years ago. It was called the Showdown, and I've been having graphic novels. I have a few columns that I do comic strips for based on those characters, and somebody asked me, it's like, hey, this game play, or this this comic plays out a lot like a game because there's racing going on, there's duking, it's like you can almost battle each other. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I kind of, I am a D&D guy. I like my RPG elements like that. I'm going to try to do a board game. And I started on about a year and a half ago, just different concepts and getting people involved going to like Gen Con and really figuring out like what's out there now. Because the board games now are not like, your daddy's board games. They're a lot more complicated and funner than miniatures, and they get crazy. But I was trying to create like a simplistic but fun board game that has the same kind of elements as Dungeons and Dragons, but definitely keeps it with the same elements of that my evil in the comic dragged it down the hell kind of style.
Okay. Now, are these the same? The comics that you're talking about, are these the same comics that you have as part of the campaign that's available?
Yeah. All those comics are in the campaign. Same illustrator that I use, the colorist and the letters. We all collaborated together to do the board game, and I basically put it together. What I was trying to achieve is good gameplay. That's any game I play. That's the most important to me, at least, is the gameplay. I mean, I'm not a big fan. I see the appeal of miniatures and why people like certain things, but to me, that's just fluff. I mean, I want a good. A game that plays solid. That's all I care about. I don't care if I'm playing with like a penny. And actually, funny, I actually started with pennies because I was like, oh, what's a better way than making something evil or defacing currencies by using the U.S. currency? So I started there, but then I found out you can't do that. You can get arrested. So I moved on from that. Yeah, it's crazy laws. Like I was actually in Photoshop and downloading like pictures of like the US dollar and stuff like that, and I got flagged, and they actually send you a link say stop what you're doing. And there's a whole like little alert system like that. I was like, wow, I didn't know they took us. That's why Monopoly, the money looks so fake. It has to be completely fake. It can't be even somewhat real, or you will get flagged. They will hunt you down. Okay. It's pretty crazy, but
it's like well, at least not a bunch of a pair of guys dressed up in black suits and sunglasses and crap.
We'll see. I'm still waiting. The campaign's not over yet. I'll try to do something special.
Alrighty. So now the comic books are there's three issues, right? Now is Is the game pretty much I guess a conglomeration of all three issues, or is there a specific element or character that the game is based on that you just took and ran?
Well, I guess if you, I don't know. I guess definitely the style of the game is from the comics, but the how you play the game is different, and it's a cross between different games that I like. I found this old game. It was like a French game, and I think it came out in 1906. It was called Touring, and it was a pretty fun game. It's nothing like my game, but it was the basic gameplay. It was a card game, and basic gameplay is like you do have you tour around, I don't know, France, I guess, but it was kind of a boring game. And I want to make it a lot more exciting, add my comic to it, battling cars, and where you actually make your player crash into a wall, or he has to fix himself, get back in the road, and dragging yourself, because the comic's based in hell, so I was dragging them back to hell with Dante's Inferno. If anybody ever read that, it's one of my favorite books, because it's a revenge piece, and he basically, and it's still relevant today, revenge on everybody that ever done him wrong. So politicians and lawyers and everybody's down in hell, Nazis, and then it's like, oh, what a better place to have like a death race than in hell. So I took that element, and each there's 9 circles of hell, and each one represents a different place that you can race across, and my characters come from different places of hell. So when they have different powers or situations they can do to another person that other person can't do. So that's where the strategy part comes in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it. I've been testing a lot throughout the months and actually a year now, and I've had some crazy nights. people getting mad at each other, people loving it, people like, hey, when we gonna play again?
Okay. So
but yeah, because
so the feedback's been pretty positive. People are loving it.
Yeah, because it's unique, it's different. I wanted to do something different. That nobody's really done before. There's a few racing games out there, but this one's a little bit more intense, a little bit more a lot more strategy going, right? Because I do have cards and dice that you're rolling, so there's 2 elements. You can run with the dice and just press your luck, but you might go slower, or you can play your cards and go faster, but you might run into certain demons, because there's also a lot of there's demons inside the road from the Dante's Inferno, like Medusa and Cypress and all those people, or those demons you would have to fight, but it depends how you play the game.
Okay.
Because you're also challenging each other, and then you have other demon encounters. That's what I call it. They're called demon encounters.
All right. Well, let's get into that. About what you tell us what the victory conditions are, or the different mechanics, and how the game plays out.
Yeah. So basically, I would say it's a racing game. So if you want to, you play cards first. Like you throw you down certain cards that you get going, how fast you go. And then if you decide to like battle your friend, it's a strong 2-player game, but I did make an element for 3 to 4 players. It's just an option, but if you're gonna have 4, I know that some people like to team up on other people, so it'd be 3-on-1 can really screw somebody. But then in the end, because I was playing with the gameplay, that one person, if everybody's trying to do something against this one guy, he comes out the winner, because they're wasting all the cards on one guy and forgetting about the others. So it is a lot of strategy on that. Like you kind of almost want to mind your own business and just pull ahead. That's what I found out, but it's fun. But as far as the tracks, each track, there's 9 circles of hell, so there's 9 tracks. Each one has their own skill challenges that you can come across too. So you have to play your cards right, or you might get stuck on a skill challenge where you have to challenge yourself out of it, like a classic D20 roll. Let me see, and each hell or each circle of hell represents their own punishment too. So if you get stuck in hell, like limbo, or whatever, it has its own punishment that you might come across and that you might not get out of, and you might slow down, and why your competitor speeds ahead of you. Let me think. As far as I mean, you get the dice rolling and you get the card playing, and then if you want to, I added a few different elements to speed up the game too. Like there's a thing called the City of Dis, and there's also a Leviathan, which is a train that lives in hell and transports the damned to different parts of hell. And that train circles around the track, so you can jump on the train if you choose to, and it's a do or die thing because it'll take you from track to track, so you can get really fast. But if it crashes, you're on board, obviously, so it crashes with you. So it's one of those things. It's your choice if you want to do that, if you want to beat the game really quick or die really quick. And there's City of Dis is also another shortcut. There's options to take fast. You can take shortcuts, but there's once again, if you get stuck or pull the wrong card or place the wrong card, or somebody challenges you at the right time, it can be your demise also. So it's good. I'm very strong on the strategy base. Play smart.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But smart and fast too.
Yeah.
Like, because and I found out more times, at least I play, like you can almost like poker too. I mean, even though it's nothing like poker, but it's the same amount of cards you hold in your hand. And if you play with a bunch of people, you got to know what they're going to play, or you're going to be, or what cards you actually, and what cards are going to be played. Because when you discard, they face up. And I know some people were actually counting cards at sometimes too, so they know how much cards are left, so they can play certain cards. I was like, that was interesting. I didn't think about that. But that's the fun part of letting people play. A bunch of times they figure out how to get around situations, but it's fun. I like it.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about the drivers that you could play in the game. So,
each one has its own basically souls. That's basically their hit points and their own shield. So, and they all have, well, at least one has their own special ability, whatever it might be. Each one's based off a character from my comic. And there's a total of, I think I have 13 right now. Yeah. 13 characters. Some are going to come in as extras, and some are actually solid players that you can play right off the bat. Like the Kickstarter campaign, you start off with 4, and there's options to get more.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's this each one is different. Once again, the RPG element. So picking your player is important, or your racer, because certain ones have certain adds. Like one Bones character is a skeleton. A rider, he rides like his old Cafe Racer, but he has a +1 on his rolls, so he will go faster. But he has low souls. He only has 1. So if you're going too fast and somebody messes with you, you can crash and die. So, and also I added another cool little element, the little flip over. So while you're going around the tracks, there's certain upgrades you can pick up. A faster engine or better tires. If you pick up all of them, you can actually overcharge your character. You flip over the tile, and you get all these additional pluses, and so you can go faster, and it'll help you a lot on when you encounter demons too.
Okay.
So some fun stuff like that.
I see you're able to do some upgrades to your vehicles.
Yeah. I have there's 3 of them. There's tires, armor, and faster engine, and then you can pick up a total of 6 for each one, for each character.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how the dice play into the game. How are they used?
Well, there's a certain card called Pedal to the Metal, and every time you play that card, there's a D6 roll, and that's how many spaces you would move forward. There's also a NOS card, nitrous oxide, and if you use that, you can roll 2 D6 rolls, so you can go more spaces. Obviously, the D20 comes in factor for your skill challenges or your demon encounters, or if you're trying to hit a fellow racer. So the more of just a roll, and that also comes in to play on certain punishments. And just the punishments come. So you have to roll over a certain amount to not get punished if you get stuck in a circle of hell or anything like that. and there's also mini dice games too. I added. So there's one card that actually has it's called Chicken. You know, the game of Chicken. So basically, you can challenge somebody to a game of Chicken, and it's a little mini dice game that I made up with these rules. Well, basically, you roll three of the d6 dices, and whoever gets the highest roll off the one, like the highest, you pick one. Like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. It's trying to explain how dice rolls, but I have instructions on it. But you can catch up in the end. Like if you beat the guy at the game of Chicken, you can easily catch up to him. If you're far behind, so it's the card you kind of want to save. And I also had other mini dice games because there's a different tier on the campaign where it's like a drinking and ante-up kind of a game. I call it Whiskey and Wagers. And that also involves some dice games too. It's like fun drinking games. And if people are interested in that, there's also that option.
Okay. So you don't have to actually drink whiskey in order to
No, it's just called Whiskey and Wagers because Whiskeys and Wagers because you're not allowed to say betting because betting's illegal. Okay. So Whiskey and Wagers, and that's
another thing you'll get flagged on, I guess.
I know I'm creating such I get a lot. Something I like to do is I like to create some kind of controversy, even in my comics. I've already been banned a few times, and I'm just a little bit mystic of like dangerous, and that's what I'm trying to bring to the table. Something that's not so family friendly, if you will.
Right.
Something that people you would play like at a bar or something you would say, "Hey guys, this is kind of fun. This is actually a different kind of style of game." Okay. So that's what I'm trying to do.
So speaking of that, such that, so would because I'm looking at some of the artwork and stuff, and yeah, there's like monsters and demons and stuff like that, but it's not. And maybe I've watched just too many horror movies, but to me it doesn't strike me as something that's going to give me nightmares. It's like it's part from. It's taking its cues from the comic books, so
yeah, it's campy. That's what I lean on, campy.
Yeah,
that's something I don't feel like a lot. It's not represented well in horror as campy. I mean, there are some movies that come out that are campy, but right now everything's just blood and guts and scary and nightmares and possessions, and I get that it has a space, but the whole campy thing that I grew up with is. Tales from the Crypt kind of stuff and things. EC Comics, those guys. It was campy stuff. Good storytelling, but it wasn't like not going to keep you up with the blood and guts and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So So I wouldn't categorize this as a mature themed or adult only type of thing. But if you have a
I would say at 13. I mean, at 13, I was watching it. So I don't know. And it turned out pretty normal. Well, I think.
But how old were we when we were listening or watching Tales from the Crypt or reading Creep Show or something like that?
I think I got my first Tales from the Crypt comic. Actually, I got it a little earlier. I would say 10, but I was hung out with older kids, so that was influence. But I mean, it was more fun than anything. Like, definitely wasn't scary by any means.
Right. So now this Kickstarter is currently going on, and it's looks like it's going to go on until December 20th.
Yeah, 20th. It's Christmas. What's a better way to bring Christmas than to bring hell in your life? I probably get a lot of crap from that, but it's fine.
Well, if people survived, Thanksgiving dinner with their family, then
yeah, I know, right? Can't get any worse.
Just prepare for like Christmas dinner. So.
Oh, it's a great topic starter, definitely.
Alrighty.
Mind your politics and get dragged to hell.
And I think it's kind of funny. You got so you got your people down in hell. It's like okay, you got your lawyers, you got your politicians. God.
It's crazy. I mean, if you read it, I mean, it's everybody's down there. You know, religious figures. I mean, it's just I think it's so relevant. People read that nowadays, like, oh yeah, of course. And it's funny because he's so detailed on his punishments of where you're going in hell, and what's your punishment, and what you're doing, and why you're there, and what was your crime. It's almost like and it's funny all the people that are down there is just like you easily see when you look around. Oh, you're definitely going to hell. Oh, you're definitely going to hell, and then they have a spot for you too. I find that amusing. It's just funny to me. And it was written so long ago too. I mean, Dante's Inferno is basically how we view hell. I mean, that's the Bible didn't talk about it. They said hell, but they didn't fire brimstone, but they didn't really get into the details. I mean, Dante got into the details of what it is and what it looks like and where it comes from. And he used a lot of Greek mythology for his demons and stuff like that. So, I try to incorporate all that in this board game.
Okay. Now, I see here that we got a Screamo-Vision 3D glasses.
Yes.
So is the game in 3D? Is
no.
comics in 3D?
Those are. I was thinking about that, but that's like I don't want people wearing those glasses for 2 hours or whatever.
I go to a 3D for the movie. I have a headache by the end, but if it's more than an hour long.
And it's the old 3D too. It's not like the new 3D where it's the red and blue. But no, that's for the comic book, the graphic novel. In the back, there's bonus pages, and I did for all the car clubs. They have their posters, and those posters are in 3D.
Okay.
So that's just a little fun thing, and that's free. It comes with it.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Right. It's again. This Kickstarter is currently going on until December 20th. Now, if it successfully funds, what are you looking for? Like a delivery time or estimate?
I done on the legwork. I mean, basically all I have to do is press enter to the print company that I'm working with, and it's going to be made and sent out pretty quick. So I'm saying February because you want to give time because for shipping I don't control the post office.
Right. But
it should be like probably January actually.
Oh, okay.
But
wow.
Yeah, and I want to stress this enough. This is a real Kickstarter. It's not like I'm not in it to make $1 million. I have a passion for this. I like good games. So I'm just trying to make enough money to get this made. And then that's why I have a low goal. If this, like in fashion of Kickstarter, I'm not an online store. I mean, I'm not selling it. This doesn't get funded. It doesn't get made. Simple as that, because I don't have the funds to make. I see a lot of these Kickstarters making millions of dollars, and I'm just like, okay, if they don't really need, it doesn't cost that much to make these games. They're obviously pocketing a lot of this stuff. I'm not doing any of that. This is for passion. This is for art.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a very modest goal. So
yeah,
I don't.
It is. Should be achievable. I think we're at like 50% right now. Yeah, it's been plugging away.
Okay. All right, Russ. Well, thank you so much. Now, if people want to find out more about you or the Kickstarter, where could they go?
Yeah, the Kickstarter is at the Showdowns usually. Yeah, I'm sure you say you can post a link. I'm also on Facebook. I'm also on Facebook. Twitter is not big on the Twitter feed. And Instagram's like, whatever. But Facebook, I'm easily findable. Just Russ Lippitt. The Showdown has its own page. It's been up and running for like, I don't know, since Facebook pretty much started, I think.
Okay.
And it was on MySpace before that. But
oh, wow.
Yeah. This is old. It's
I
been
remember
around.
those days. So, all right. Of course, we'll put links to those in the show notes of this episode. Go check that out. Now, Russ, if I don't know if you've heard some of our previous episodes and interviews, we like to play like a little game with all of our guests. Just so until I come up with a better name, I call it the Mega Meeple Rapid Fire Round, where I just basically, it's nothing to do with gaming or anything. It's just, some silly little trivial crap that we do here.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So
I'm down.
I'll say something like cats or dogs, and you just tell me which one you like better.
Oh, okay. They say, which one do I own? Okay.
All right. Well, let's start out with I guess go back to your beginnings. D&D or Pathfinder?
Yeah, D&D easily.
All right. Books or movies?
Books definitely. Because all movies come from books. So I mean, and it starts with a written word. Even a script is is written. So
James Bond or James Bond or Jason Bourne?
Shaking and nuts. I'm gonna go James Bond just because he's old school.
Okay. Let's see, Android or Apple?
Well, I can't go. I own an iPhone. Talking to iPhone right now, so I'll have to say Apple.
Okay. And then we got Obi-Wan or Yoda.
Definitely Yoda.
Okay.
He's a little guy. He's gonna fight for the little guy.
Let me ask you this: do you think that little thing that the CGI fight that he did with the lightsabers? Do you think that was kind of? Do you think that kind of was into the campy category, or do you think that really went over well?
Well, it's funny because I have such a I don't know, love-hate relationship with CG because I understand its purpose. I actually studied it when I was in college, and what it was designed for is not what it's doing now, because it's supposed to be just for background and put yourself in elements. But now they started creating characters with it and stuff so. It always leans on the campy, but it's not on purpose, and that's unfortunate because it comes off like that's just looks cheesy. But for the Yoda instance, I think trying to do puppets with that, but it would have been really difficult and time consuming. So unfortunately, and Yoda, he's the master Jedi, so he's like, well, we got to see him fight, you got to throw down. So how are we going to do this? And so that was one of the things they kind of did. I don't know. Personally, I think Lucas and Disney now, they do have the money. They have tons of money. They can easily do a complete puppet movie they wanted to, but I think they still choose not to because I feel like people don't really care about that, what it looks like anymore. Yeah. Just put it out there and then people can go see it. They don't even need trailers, personally. I think so. But yeah, unfortunate, but might have to do it sometimes. That's my view on it.
Yeah. So something you just gotta maybe. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. But
yeah, I mean, in the movie industry, they're always looking for save a buck, and CG is cheap, and you hire some kid, 19-year-old, just plugging away at a computer for 24 hours rather than hire Stan Winston for hours on end to make some kind of cool looking masterpiece. But that's just my opinion.
I wonder what people like Stan or even Tom Savini.
Exactly.
They go through the old school and the practical stuff, and then they see these young whippersnappers coming, and so it's like, what the hell's wrong with what's this crap?
I know. Well, I just heard recently that what was it, Dark Crystal? They're coming out, and it's gonna be all CG, which is like, what? That was mind-boggling. That's a complete puppet movie, and to turn it all CG. But I don't think people care. I don't support it. I'm not gonna go see it. I mean, why pay something I already saw in a lesser version? Nobody else does that. Nobody looks at a Picasso painting and say, what would be better if I just make this stroke over it? So no, it is what it is. You leave it alone. You don't touch it. You don't remake it. You don't do anything. You appreciate what it is. You don't go after it to make more money.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been kind of hesitant. It was like, they're remaking. How many movies are they going to remake?
Yeah, and it's never good. Seriously, people, it's not good. If you want something more, and I get it. If you want something more, go find the original guys that did it. Pay them. I bet they have great ideas of what they created rather than what somebody else thinks it should be.
Yeah, and very very few of them come off pretty well, and especially as the Spider-Man is okay, that movie is not even 10 years old, and already they've had so many different
Yeah.
like reboots of it or
Yeah, I
something.
know. It's crazy. I mean, I
At
kind of
least,
tune out after a while. It's like, I mean, I'm not trying to be like biased or saying, but that's why I'm trying to do different things because everybody's doing the same thing. It seems like.
Yeah. All right. So that's your Roger Ebert and what's the other guy version of the episode.
Yeah. It's funny.
See, us gamers, we could talk about other things other than just games.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk lots of things. I got a lot of things to say. I don't know if they're gonna be dated in time, but we'll see. Time will tell.
All right, Russ. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and thank you so much for coming on the show, and good luck with this Kickstarter. Looks like a pretty wild pretty wild ride
From
in
shooting
the
park.
depths of hell.
Thank you. No, thank you for taking the time to listen to me.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you so much for listening. And just stay tuned. Make sure to go to the website and check out some of the social media pages that I share on. Go to iTunes or whatever your favorite podcast streaming service is, and just subscribe to the show, and you will be notified when the next time. I don't know when. I like I said, I may be. I guess I'm taking pretty easy right now during the holidays. So I think that the next episode will probably be coming out after the first of the year. But yeah. But in the meantime, I wish everybody a happy and safe holiday.